All right. Welcome, everybody, to Speakeasy. I'm Kirk, and I'm going to be running this AMA and once as we move through the project. And so with today's AMA, just basically wanted to do some quick introductions, and then we'll walk through the white paper quickly. And then if there are questions, feel free to go ahead and ask questions as we go through things instead of leaving them to the end. And we'll try to take as many as we can. And then at the end, if there's any other pickup questions that anybody wants to ask, then we'll try to respect your time and get through this as much as quickly as possible. So let's get going. First, I wanted to say that this has just been an amazing experience already. We opened up this Telegram channel on the 15th, so 8 days ago. And as you know and can see, we're already well over 600 members, and there's been a tremendous amount of excitement both in the channel as well as messages I'm receiving privately. And I'm humbled and also excited to get the project off the ground. And I hope that everybody here understands both as they get to know me that I share a lot of the same attitudes and ideas about DeFi that Jack does and other good players in the space. And so while I'm never going to blow smoke up anybody's skirt and promise you specific returns, I can promise you that you will not get rugged in this project, that this is completely a legitimate project. And Jack and I both want to make sure that everybody understands that, and I think everybody that's been involved in Frost Flakes knows that Jack is, completely above board and goes above and beyond to try to make things the best possible experience that they can be. So with that said, I'll move on and just tell you a little bit about myself. I've been involved in crypto in general for about 5 years. Been involved with DeFi specifically for the last couple of years. I was fortunate enough to come into DeFi, and the very first projects that I worked with, were not rug pulls, and so I had a good first taste in my mouth about DeFi. And then about a year ago, I got involved with the EMP.money protocol, first as just an investor. And I started to get very excited about the protocol and what it had to offer, started to become friends with AJ, who is the team lead over there at EMP, and started to get involved with actually working on the project. I'm a member of what they call their army, the EMP Army, which is a group of about 20 or 30 people who aren't on the official team, but are basically running things in the back and doing all of the grunt work, if you will. And that's how I ended up getting tapped to create what's called the EMP Academy, which is a full-blown learning management system teaching new investors not just the EMP protocol, which is a seniorage project if you're not familiar with it, but also DeFi in general and how to do that. We've currently got about 1,300 students going through the academy. It's completely free, and you can get a certification in that academy. And it's been a really outstanding program. We've now started to add additional training. EMP has a partnership with Splinterlands, the game Splinterlands, and now there's training in our academy for Splinterlands and such. So I've been pretty intimately involved in helping EMP grow, and I would say that EMP is probably, to my knowledge, the strongest platform on BSC in terms of DeFi. Even with the current market, there's still about $10 million in TVL in EMP, and they're not going anywhere. And then the team that's leading it, AJ and others, are just the strongest people that I know in DeFi. And so as a part of that, I got involved with Frost Flakes. I can't remember exactly, maybe DeFi Guys video is where I saw it first. And but I found it somewhere just surfing around, and really liked what Jack was trying to do with taking a miner and going forward with that, and adding the revenue gen aspects of it, and to try to make it something, more sustainable. And I just really, it resonated with me. And I came in a little bit late. I think I was like maybe 3 or 4 months into the project is when I came in. But then I started DMing Jack privately and bugging him, because at first I was trying to talk him into maybe taking some of the revenue generation and moving it into the EMP ecosystem, which he was pretty interested in. But it was just too much to try to pull off with everything else that was going on. But that's how I got to know Jack, was talking to him, in DMs about EMP and the possible opportunities there. So this all ties into how Speakeasy was born. As soon as it sort of became clear that Frostflakes was going to be winding down, I approached Jack and said, hey, I'm still really high on what you are doing here. I think I have some interesting ideas with mechanics involving NFTs. And I also think that my relationship with EMP could be a real benefit to investors. So what would you think about, basically at first we were thinking a fork of Frostflakes, but it's ended up being much more than that. And he was all in from day one. And so I was very excited to get the chance to work with him. And he's here on the AMA now. So I'd just like to bring him up for just a minute so he can talk a little bit about what his perspective is on what we're up to here. And then we'll get into the white paper and we'll do some questions. Please, just one side note, even though Jack's here, we're trying to limit this to questions about Speakeasy, not Frostflakes. He's totally available to everybody in other channels. So let's try to keep it to that if you do ask any questions of Jack as we go through it. So let me unmute you, Jack, and let's get going here. Let's see here. I won't unmute. Or maybe you have to... do you have to raise your hand? Oh, there we go. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hey, man. How's it going?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you. And thank you for that introduction. That was really good. And yeah, as you mentioned, you were quite early on talking about projects, etc., in the DMs, and we had a really good conversation going from the beginning. I really felt that we had some good chemistry going as well, and we were sparring a lot with ideas of both revenue mechanisms, etc., and all of that just kind of built up over time. So even though that, as you mentioned as well, I didn't have time to implement something big at that stage, because I think that once you DM'd me, I was actually on the break of adding the bots that I had, the bot army, and that took a lot of my time, of course. Yeah. So, but we still kept on the conversation going, and it was really fun, and I learned a lot, both about EMP and about you as well. So when you actually came up to me, I think we'll start this year saying, hey, let's do something. Let's move on this. I was all up for it. I couldn't figure anyone else that I wanted to start something with at that point. That was just after that I finished the baked beans one as well, so it was perfectly timed in that sense. So in terms of Speakeasy, honestly, I think you pushed the first white paper iteration to me. I think it was last year, October, maybe December or something. I'm actually not quite sure when, but it was quite early. And on that stage, I didn't have time to, dig into it at all. But once I saw it start this year, my first intention was that it had some really great gamification methods with the NFT. It's no secret that Mitch and I actually also talked about implementing NFTs at that point, but again, it was new to me. I didn't have time to run the project and dig into how to create my own NFTs and implement them into a new contract, etc. So having the possibility of creating something with you and with something where I can learn new stuff as well, that is where I really thrive. That's the path that I want to go, because I love learning new stuff, and especially once it's related to the blockchain, of course. And all the other mechanisms that you have added, which, for instance, the daily rewards itself are way more conservative and realistic in the terms of having an external revenue helping along with the income into the contract once that's needed. And excuse me, if we look into some of the features that we're going to add in, and you're going to dive into this into the white paper, so I don't want to go into way too many details of it, but one of the things that I'm really excited about is that the way that we set up these mechanisms will actually allow us to build over time, of course, but we will be able to build the revenue faster than the investor will be able to compound their rewards. So essentially, we will actually be able to compound the revenue more frequently compared to what the investors will be able to compound their daily rewards. So in that sense, we will have a more exponential graph of revenue building up than rewards we need to pay out. So that in itself is really, really great in my opinion. And then one of the greatest things that I am really, really grateful about is the way that you want to help the Frostflakes community. So I want to highlight this to everyone, that I didn't push anything towards Kirk in terms of giving us these offers that he also will elaborate a little bit about later in this AMA at all. He came up to me and said, hey, let's do something for your community. So that is huge for him. Thank you so much for that, Kirk. That's really huge for me, since I, of course, want to do as much as possible as I can for my community, but having you offering this and helping along in other ways is perfect. I can't be more happy for that. So thank you so much for it.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. And I think, and thanks for all that background, amazing insight there. But I think that, yeah, one of the things that Jack and I immediately hit it off together about was, this idea that, this is a Wild West in DeFi, and there's so many rugs going on and various things. And as I said at the top of this, we can't promise things financial, but we can say, our intentions are good. We're trying to create a platform and a protocol that will last and that people have a reasonable chance of not only ROIing, but going beyond that, right? So I think that that's the intent here. And I love it, Jack, when you're saying, the idea behind, potentially being able to outpace with revenues what we're paying out in rewards. That's the key, you guys. That's everything that we're trying to do is around that principle, because, Jack, totally open and honest about how all miners really, and even ROI dApps to a degree, have the quote unquote Ponzi-nomics to them, even though they're not nefarious necessarily. The idea of being early adopters being paid out by late adopters is, something that these things share. So that's why I was so excited at first when I saw what you were doing with Frostflakes and bringing in the concept of this type of revenue generation. And so now I'm hoping that we can take it to the next level and get in, and I'll start talking about the white paper and how we intend to do this right now. That's a good segue. And Jack, if you've got anything else, otherwise I'll just jump right in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll holler if I have anything.
Cool. All right. So let's get into it. I don't know. I'm going to be going right off the white paper. If you all have it and want to reference it, that's fine too. And there will be, you can, again, either raise your hand if you want to ask questions, or you can ask questions in the chat. Speaking of which, I see one from Andrea asking about the base 25%. How many days ROI? I don't have that number in front of me. I'll try to put it into the chat later. It's, obviously without any NFTs to boost your APR, that's going to be the longest ROI of any, but I don't have the exact numbers. And also it would also matter how much you are putting in would also determine that ROI. Okay, so here with the Speakeasy white paper, the project summary is pretty much what we've been talking about already. But so I'll skip down a couple of paragraphs, and there's a chart, if you're looking at it, that shows the overall Speakeasy protocol and what it is. At 35,000 feet, you can see that basically the idea here is that we have users of the platform that are either guests or members, and the difference between a guest and a member is whether or not they own one of the membership keycard NFTs. And if they do, that's going to affect your APR. So basically, you're depositing BNB. This Speakeasy does not have a native token, which to me is incredibly bullish. I think it's really hard to support a native token. So again, this is a mechanic straight out of Frost Flakes that I really loved, is that we're just dealing in BNB and everybody knows and loves that token. So you would be depositing BNB into the contract. The contract then will be taking a portion of those deposits, and just like in Frost Flakes, taking them out and investing them to bring back returns to the protocol. As you see on the chart, one of the differences between the two is that, again, instead of using GrizzlyFi or PCS farms or the bots, we're going to be using EMP money. And we're going to have AJ Brockman, who's the team lead of EMP, come on to probably the next AMA and give you more of a deep dive on that protocol, so you know where your money's going, and then potentially, if you're interested in jumping in over there as a individual, you'll be able to get some good alpha from AJ. The other thing, as you see on the chart, that is unique about the protocol, both with the Speakeasy member key cards and then the cocktail NFTs, is these are revenue generators for the protocol. And this is key to doing what Jack was talking about in terms of getting ahead of the game, meaning getting ahead and having a nice reserve in the treasury that's always ahead of what we need to pay out rewards. So the three elements of this are smaller rewards overall that are sustainable, lengthening out the time a little bit that is required to get there, and then having a strong reserve. Now, maybe these things are overkill and will be so successful that we have too much of everything, but that's a problem I would like to have, right? Always the issue with these types of protocols is, at some point it's not sustainable and you don't have the buzz that you did and the FOMO that you did at the beginning of the project, and so not as many people are coming in, right? Okay, well, we're trying to make the next step towards that not being such a killing experience for the protocol by getting ahead of the game. And the NFTs are the vehicle by which we are going to do that, and provide us with a bunch of revenue up front that can then be earning this whole time while the rest of the revenue is paying out these rewards. So we'll be able to go a lot longer in theory, than Frost Flakes did because of this fact. So if we have a successful ramp up, especially in the cocktail NFTs, if we have there will be 2,000 of those, and if we sell those out, we're going to be in a great place. So let's give a little specifics off of this chart. As Andrea had mentioned, the base APR, meaning you don't buy any NFTs, you just want to put some BNB into the platform, that will pay a daily return of 0.25 on your staked assets. And these assets are staked and locked, meaning you cannot take them out. You have to ROI via your rewards. Now, let me go back. I see a question here. What do you expect to gain from EMP? I'll get into that in just a minute when we get down to the EMP protocol. So I just didn't want to ignore what you were saying. Okay, so anyway, the protocol works on a staking system, and the amount of lock time in Speakeasy is a full 7 days. So this is also different from what you might have been used to with Frost Flakes, meaning there is no freeze component that Frost Flake has. If you had to have 6 freezes within a 6-day period of time. Basically, you want to think about this, as I like to think about it anyway, as little contracts, basically, that are a week long. So you have whatever APR you have. Let's say you're starting at 25 0.25, that is your contract for the week, right? It locks, you earn that entire 7-day period, and then it unlocks, and everything stops until you decide what you want to do next. And your options are, you can take a claim, which we call cash out. You can take that amount, or you can redeposit it back in at that point. So it's not really compounding. It's really a redeposit and go again. And now you've created another little weekly contract then as you move forward. So that is basically the mechanics of that. You also will get, if you do choose to redeposit, you get a 0.01 bonus to your APR. So all the APRs that you can earn over time, either by buying NFTs or getting these bonuses, they all accumulate and they never go backwards. There's no decay on these APRs, but there is a cap, and that cap is 1.5%. So no one can ever be earning more than 1.5% on any given wallet ever. So, and that's obviously a throttling mechanism to keep the protocol as healthy as possible. So again, you come in at 0.25. If you purchase the Speakeasy membership keycard NFT, that automatically doubles your APR from 0.25 to 0.50. So you're basically buying in a larger APR. And then, of course, we're generating revenues through the sales of these NFTs that we don't have to pay on. So it truly is revenue for the protocol. Okay, so let's see. I want to double check the chat and see if there are any questions that I missed. Let's see. No, I don't see anything. Okay, great. I'll move on. I'm going to skip the getting started and new DeFi and experienced DeFi users. I think everybody knows about that when we're here. So let's go into the how it works section. Again, most of the stuff I've covered on the objective of what we're trying to get done. We're trying to do this through smaller daily rewards, through the revenue generation and NFT sales, the strategic investments with EMP.money, and possibly some other things. I don't know if many of you are familiar with Dex Vaults, but Dex Vaults has now partnered with EMP as well. And so we're looking at potentially setting up a vault that can earn for the protocol as well there. And so we will be looking at other things, but at this point, we're going to keep this mainly with EMP because that's the protocol I know the best, and I know I can produce there for everybody. Let's see. No native token. We covered that. Okay, so let's talk about earning rewards. I talked about the guest at 0.25, and having the membership NFT bumps up to 0.50. Now let's talk about cocktail NFTs. The cocktail NFT is yet another bonus that you can get, a second NFT that you can apply towards your APRs. The NFTs, there are 6 NFTs, 6 cocktail NFTs, and the bonus rates go from 0.25 all the way up to 1%. So depending on which cocktail NFT you are holding, will determine what your actual APR is. So there's lots of different mechanics and gamifications here. And so not everybody, like in Frostflakes, will be getting 2%. Some people will be getting 2.5. Some will be getting 5. Some will be getting 1.25. It will vary around. And of course, if you took the average of whatever that ends up being, it's going to be less than 1.5%, which is already a reduction from the 2 in Frostflakes. So again, we're trying to be conservative in the name of sustainability. Okay, I covered how to claim. Again, it's a 7-day period of time. Once the 7 days is ended, it unlocks and the contract stops, meaning you have to take an action before things will move again, before you can earn again or anything. So if it unlocks on a Friday and you go out of town for the weekend, when you come back on Monday, it's just going to be sitting there at the exact same status waiting for you to make your decision. There is maximums that are different from Frostflakes in that, Frostflakes, I think the max wallet was 260 BNB. I think that's right. We've changed that completely, and we've done a max reward on a 7-day cycle of 2 BNB is the max that you can do. I think it was 5 in Frostflakes. So it's 2 here in the 7-day period. And then the total max payout per wallet is 3x. Now that's on both deposits and redeposits. So if you redeposit 1 BNB, then you're going to get a total maximal payout of 3 BNB on that 1 BNB. So you can continue to build it, but it doesn't just build with nothing. You have to be continuing to invest in the protocol to expand that total maximum payout on the wallet. So let's see if there's any questions on that. Yeah, there's some good conversations going on there, but it seems like other people are answering. Okay, great. There is a referral program in Speakeasy. It's much more streamlined than what Frostflakes had, and there's no lottery or the snowflake, I think it was called. That's completely been taken out of the protocol, but we do have a streamlined referral program that will allow you to use your wallet ID to refer people in, and you will receive a credit to your TVL of 5% of whatever that person's first deposit is. So that's basically it. There's no running anything beyond that. It's just the first deposit, 5% into your TVL, and that's a credit. You also have to be a MKC key card holder to get that bonus. So you have to have some skin in the game here at the protocol to get that bonus. All right, let's move on. So tokens, we don't have any tokens. As I said, everything is working with BNB in and BNB out. So the token issue, there's no tokenomics with the project really at all. Okay, I'll move on to NFTs. I've explained most of these. There's the membership keycard NFT, which will always be in existence. To get that initial bonus and to get the opportunity to do everything else that you can do in Speakeasy, you have to be a member. You don't have to be a member to deposit and get your 0.25, but you have to be a member to do anything else. Okay. So the cocktail NFTs, I've also covered those. And if you're looking, you can, at the white paper, you can see the various cocktails. I'll go through them really quickly, and I'll explain now how these are going to be minted. I don't have a launch date for you yet, but when this mint happens, it will be a live and random mint. So basically what's going to happen is there will be 2,000, up to 2,000 of these available. And the rarity is also shown on the graphic with the cocktail NFTs. So the first one is called the Gin and Tonic. The APR bonus is 0.25, and the mint chance is 25%. The next one is the Margarita NFT, which is a 0.35 bonus and a 20% mint chance. The next is the Bloody Mary NFT, which is a 0.5% bonus and an 18% mint chance. Next is a Pina Colada, which is 0.65% bonus and 15% mint chance. Next is the Irish Coffee NFT, Delicious, which is 0.8 bonus and 12% mint chance. And then finally, the Granddaddy, the Old Fashioned NFT, which is a full 1% bonus and a 10% mint chance. So the live mint, when it goes live, you will go and you will purchase a cocktail NFT. The purchase price is 0.5 BNB, but you will not know what you are purchasing. This is a game. So you will purchase, you can mint up to 2 cocktail NFTs per wallet. So if you want to mint 2, that's 1 BNB for both of those. And then you will be issued your NFT into your wallet, and it will be randomly generated, and it will be one of these 6 NFTs, and the mint chance rarity is what is displayed there. So you get what you get, minimum 2.5, maximum 1 on the bonuses. So at that point, you own that NFT. If you do mint 2 NFTs in a wallet, or you decide to use multiple wallets and get multiple NFTs, more than two. You can move NFTs from wallets to wallets post mint. And the contract will automatically look at all of the cocktail NFTs that you have in your wallet and will automatically assign the cocktail NFT with the highest bonus to your APR. They do not stack. It's going to take the highest one. Now, after this live mint is complete, and that's going to be, there'll be a particular time frame that the mint takes place. Once that time expires, if the full 2,000 have not been minted, then the remaining number will not exist. They'll be technically basically burned or not even minted to begin with. So if we don't go the full 2,000, that will make whatever we do even rarer, and that's the end of the cocktail NFTs. Only people that are involved with this project now and before we go launch public will ever have an opportunity at the mint stage to get one of these cocktail NFTs. They will not exist once the project goes fully public. They will only exist on the secondary market. So there is the potential for like an arbitrage kind of situation where if our project is becoming really popular and people downstream are going, wow, how do I get myself one of those cocktail NFTs? Well, they can't get them from us, meaning the protocol. They would have to buy them from you on the secondary market. So that may be something you're interested in doing. Why would I get more than one if I only get APR credit for one? Well, you might want to do it because you can make some money on the backside selling it on the secondary market, since they will not exist outside of that. So, but that's obviously your choice, whatever you want to do. Also, if you mint two, that gives you a better chance that one of them is going to be higher than the other. So, okay, so that is the cocktail NFTs. There will be other NFT opportunities. Membership key card. How much for membership key card? I just looked down and saw that. It depends. If you are, well, let me roll that out in just a second. It depends, but the highest price of the membership key card before the public launch will be 0.25 BNB. It will go up after the public launch, but anybody that's on this AMA and getting involved will pay no more than 0.25. And there's a couple opportunities to pay less, which I'll get to here in just a second. Okay, so there will be other NFTs post the public launch, but they won't be these cocktail NFTs and they won't be at this price. And also, I want to make sure I didn't mention this in the chat the other day. The Treasury will be looking on the secondary market to sweep the floor from time to time on NFTs. One, as a benefit to you, the investor. So if you have extra cocktail NFTs and you've put them up for sale, the protocol might buy them back from you. So we also want to keep price pressure on the NFTs, and we also want to take care of our own by picking up some of these NFTs if people want to get out of them. Usually when you sweep the floor, obviously it's the lowest price ones. But still, if you have them there, don't be surprised if the protocol ends up being the one buying them. Okay, so there will be other NFT. There will be, as an example, there will be gold and platinum membership key cards down the line. This is alpha. I haven't said anything about this before, but those won't happen until after the public launch, and they'll be much more expensive than what we're doing here in pre-sale. Okay, moving on to revenue streams. We've talked about the investment pool and how that works. And we've talked about the NFTs and how they are going to generate revenue for us. Let's talk a little bit about EMP money specifically, and why I'm picking that and why we are excited about it. Again, I gave you a little bit of a background. We'll have AJ, the team lead, on. You can also go over to EMP Money and check out the protocol yourself. It's fairly sophisticated, being a seniorage project. It's got a lot of moving parts to it. But the thing that's important to us is that it's a year old, which of course is a lifetime in DeFi. It is it's very strong, even after a year of this crazy, winter and blood on the streets everywhere. Again, like I said, still $10 million in the protocol, and they have paid out on every contract, every aspect of their protocol every day They have never missed anything. There's never been any nonsense with this protocol. These guys are the best of the best, in my opinion. And I know that I can count on returns in the various aspects of the product that we would be investing in. And you just can't say that about most things. So, but EMP has a bunch of different, they have their own NFTs, they have their own farms, they have these other daily ROI contracts. There's a lot of different opportunities there, and we'll talk maybe more about those specifically with AJ when he's on. But the big key to EMP money is that they know what they're doing, and this is a reliable and stable place, and it meets the needs that Jack was talking about of being able to really reliably figure out what kind of returns that we can bring back into the protocol and how that's going to affect that balance, that critical balance Jack was talking about can we get to a place where we are always having more assets available to us than we need to pay out. And that is the other thing. I don't think I made this point, but it may be obvious. But with the NFTs, as you can see, with both the cocktail and the membership key card, we're going to be bringing in quite a bit of revenue before the project even goes live. So that means from day one, we have the opportunity to be earning on all of that well before anybody starts receiving a lot of rewards, right? So this is a huge advantage over what happened with the Frostflake situation, in the sense that Jack, was working over time, and as the protocol got more and more popular and more money came into the Frostflakes, then he had more and more money to take half of out and earn revenue. We're going to have that revenue possibilities up front, and we'll be able to then continually compounding earning on all of that for probably months before we ever have to think about, do we need to bring it back into the main contract. So that is that's really bullish for the contract. So yes, Adam, we are recording this. Okay, so EMP money, that's the protocol. I'm not going to go too far. I want to try to keep this to an hour, so I don't want to go too far with EMP, but we will be having another AMA that's specifically all about EMP. Trust me. I want everybody to know about it and feel like they are comfortable with what's going on. We will be looking at other things like DEXs and other things as well, looking, not committing to anything as well. The contracts and audits section basically just has all the wallets and NFT information. We will be applying for a smart contract audit with the stamp when we get a little closer to the public launch of this and we have the contract buttoned up. It usually only takes a couple of days for them to turn it around, so we're fine there. So we will be doing that, and we will be, of course, linking to it off of the white paper. The last mechanic to talk about is the ROI payout game. And I'm really excited about this as well. The ROI payout game is going to be a weekly drawing on the wheel that we have. And it's going to randomly pick a wallet from all the wallets, picking at random, and it is going to pay out what they need from the point that they are selected to get to their ROI up to 3 BNB. So in other words, if your wallet is selected and you've been in the protocol for a couple of weeks and you've gotten a little bit of back and your ROI is now 2.5 BNB, you're going to get 2.5 BNB and you're going to be then in the black. And from that point forward, you're going to just be generating revenues that are profits. So we're going to have every week, we're going to draw one wallet and we're going to pay out their ROI as a reward up to 3 BNB. So I'm excited about that. And we'll also be doing that probably, we'll do it every week for sure. And then we'll probably throw some in for fun every once in a while and just pay somebody's ROI out. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun. There's a little video about it as well on the white paper if you want to take a look at that. Is there a cost for the wheel? No. If you're asking, do you have to make some sort of purchase in order to play the game? No, you do not. It's just something that we're doing for fun, and I am for profit. So anyway, all right. So those are the most of the issues in the white paper. I do want to mention one other thing, and then we'll see if there's any questions, and that is what Jack was alluding to at the very top was what is Speakeasy doing for the Frost Flakes community, and how does that roll out? Basically, what we're doing is we're making two different opportunities available to purchase the membership keycard NFT at a discount. The first opportunity is for those who did not ROI in Frost Flakes. We have all the wallet addresses of those people, and you will have the option to come up to a website and opt in for. There'll be 100 wallets drawn, and each one of those wallets will be able to purchase the NFT, the membership NFT, at basically half price at 0.125 BNB. So there'll be 100 wallets that have that opportunity, and all those wallets will be non-ROI wallets. Then the other one will be anybody, including non-ROI wallets, but anybody that has a Frost Flakes wallet when the snapshot was taken, will be drawing 300 of those wallets and allowing them to buy the membership NFT for 0.2 BNB. So 0.125 for the first group, 0.2 for the second group, and then it's 0.25 for that point forward before we get to the public launch. So that is the rollout of the various prices and discounts for the MKC NFT. And I have dates for you. The first 100 that are at 1.25 BNB will be drawn a week from today on Monday, January 30th, same start time at 7 p.m. UTC. Tomorrow, the website will go live that you can link to check your wallet and make sure that the wallet is a qualifying wallet. If it is, then you can opt in to be in both of these lotteries if you want. Now, one important thing to note about this, if you do opt in and you are a winner, either of the 100 or in the 300, you will be taken out of the baked beans distribution program that Jack is working with. So it's an either or. If you don't win, then you're still eligible for that. But if you do win, then you're taking this opportunity instead of that opportunity, basically. So you can make a decision to opt in or not. If you do nothing, you're still in baked beans if that's the way you want to go. But if you want to get a good head start into Speakeasy and save some money on the NFTs, you can go that way. But if you do opt in, that means if you are selected as a winner, then you're off the other list, even if you don't buy the NFT. So just be sure you want to opt in and go this route before you do it, because the minute you do it, then you've committed to that. So, and again, that will be the first drawing, the 100 at 0.125 will happen a week from today. And then the second drawing for the 300 wallets will happen on Wednesday, February 1st at the same time. So next week, there'll be two drawings for membership NFTs for Frost Flakes community at discounted pricing for everybody who decides to opt into that. So the website will go live tomorrow. The only particular I don't have, well, actually, yes, I do. The website will be open for 72 hours for 3 days from the point that it goes live tomorrow at 7 p.m. UTC. So you have a little bit of time to think about what you want to do and opt into that if you want to. So those are the dates. I'm going to be putting this obviously in the chat as well. You guys are the first people to hear it, but I'm going to put it in the chat. So very exciting to get started. Very exciting to get some actual members owning NFTs and starting to generate revenue and starting to earn on that revenue before we even open the doors. So that's very exciting. Okay, I think that I've done pretty good. 45 minutes, that's not bad. Let's open it to any questions. If somebody wants to come on voice, just raise your hand and I can bring you on voice. Or if you don't want to do that and you want to just ask a question in the chat, I'll try to answer them. Sorry, I know there have been some. It was harder than I thought to keep my eye on the chat while also doing this. So I may have missed some. So I'm looking now. I'm not seeing anybody raising their hand in the chat, I don't think. Is there anybody that has a question or in the main? Let's see. Okay. Can you make a Twitter announcement as well on this? That's a good question. We haven't really ramped up our social media presence yet, AJ. We do have we have set up our YouTube channel, which there's a link in the main chat if you want to go over and subscribe. That would be really helpful. But we haven't set up a Twitter account yet. We will prior to the public launch, but I don't have a timeline for that yet. So all we have currently, we don't have a Discord yet either. We're kind of waiting for somebody in the community to sort of step up and be a Discord person. Okay, I do see a question. Let me go ahead and open you up here. Yellow Lip. Let's see here.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. Hi, Yellow Lip. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, brother.
What's your question?
Okay. I've just been like wondering if you guys will be working on this lately because maybe you guys will be working on, let's say, for example, making an educational videos about the project, because the white paper is just coming up, and when you do a video about the white paper, you do a video about the project itself. When you do a video about the marketing, like a short video just for like 2 or 3 minutes, and you can also make the video in, let's say, in different languages. You also have basically people who want to be involved in the project, but basically they don't understand what you say in English. But when you do it like in a Chinese speaking language, like you give them more knowledge about the project, give them more understanding about the project. And when you do that in different countries, like 5 or 6 countries speaking ways, and you can also posting the video in different social medias for basically users who are not basically in the crypto space, because when they see the video, it will attract them to come to the project. It will see that, oh, this project is a great project in which they are not only based on English speaking people, and they will also want to invite more people to come into the project, and the project will also be successful. I don't know if you both know that. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. Great question. Yes, the answer is yes. As you can see, we have already embraced non-English speaking communities because we have some great mods, which we call our bartenders, who are in other parts of the world. So we already have a strong Italian community built up. We've just now added the white paper and a Telegram chat in German. I'm very open to doing this. We will be doing promotional videos. It's kind of in my wheelhouse. So I'm going to be producing quite a bit of these types of videos, so you're not just relying on the white paper. As far as translating those into other languages, I think that I'll need to do some research. I believe that YouTube will do that automatically in terms of like a captioned version. But the other thing is, of course, we're going to really need to rely on community members who speak these languages, to help out both, with videos as well as, Telegram, Discord, those kinds of things. But absolutely, the core of your question is, are we going to try to communicate in different languages and do videos as well? And the answer is yes. Again, we are probably at least a month or so away from any sort of public launch of this project. As I said at the very top, everything exploded with the Frost Flakes community coming in hard and heavy, which is fantastic. So we're kind of still getting our sea legs in terms of marketing and those kinds of things. We're further along with our Telegram group and everything than we ever thought we would be at this point. But it's just because we had the opportunity to bring the Frostflix community in, and I didn't want to pass that up. So over the next month, you'll start to see more of this kind of thing rolling out, and more AMAs and a lot of more information, that'll hopefully help the community. Okay, hopefully I answered that okay. Let's see, is there anything else? Anybody else with their hands up? Okay. Jack, do you have anything else you want to wrap up with? Or are you good?
No, not really. I really think that you covered it all really, really well. And I think one of the most exciting part, you emphasized that quite well as well in terms of the NFTs and the way that we're hopefully is going to build the revenue faster than the daily rewards are being withdrawn. Just actually to add a small bit of that, just to put things into perspective. If you look at Frostflix, the way that it built up slowly, because we didn't create extreme hype from the beginning, we're going to create the same thing with Speakeasy as much as possible, because we're going to have these slow and steady drive from the beginning and not just pump it out immediately. And with that, imagine that Frostflix ran for almost 7 months with the 2% reward on it. This has lower rewards, and not everyone will even be able to get the 1.5% daily either. So it's actually even lower in the average amount of daily rewards. Right. And also with all the other mechanisms coming in, making sure that we within these periods of months will be able to build on the revenue faster than people can build their TVL on the daily withdrawals, will actually be able to help the protocol hopefully become close, if not sustainable on its own in the end. That's of course the golden goal, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think it's interesting because, a lot of times when you get into projects and you're in the chat and stuff and you're talking about these projects that are promising 2%, 3%, 5%, 6%, all those crazy numbers, as they start to inevitably drain, you always have people saying, why can't we have something that's sustainable? I'd be willing to take a little less if I knew it was sustainable. Well, we're going to test that theory out. Because that's exactly what this is. This is less, but we're trying to make it more sustainable. So, I think I said to somebody in the chat the other day, we are never going to be the most flashy. We're never going to be the highest APR that you could find. But with that,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, with those higher APRs comes a lot of risk. And because, the math is the math, it's very hard to do. It's very hard to sustainably pay out anything, at 2% or above. It's very hard. So, usually those things rely mostly on FOMO and getting, investors in, those kind of things. And we're trying to minimize that as much as possible with this project.
Exactly. Yeah. Well said.
Cool. AJ, I saw a question. Yes, the contract is a proxy at this point, just the way Frostflix was. Will it ever be immutable? Maybe. What we're doing here is, part of it relies upon a transparency and openness and making sure that you guys feel comfortable. As I've said, most people that are listening and in the community know and respect and trust Jack very well and are just getting to know me, which I totally understand. But, Jack is also my check on this. This is Jack's contract. It's my project. I'm the team lead, but it's Jack's contract and it's Jack's reputation on the line that way. And we both are very committed to keeping each other, not that we have to keep each other honest, but keeping each other in check and making sure there's checks and balances in terms of how the project is working. I don't know if you want to speak to that, Jack.
Yeah, definitely. No, you're completely right. And if it's any consolidation in the situation of people trusting and knowing me, but getting to know you, as you mentioned, the contract is mine, and that means that I have full control of the contract itself. So Kirk is not able to do anything towards the contract. The contract isn't live at this point either, but once it goes live, I will still keep managing and controlling the contract throughout the entire scenario where it would be epoxy. So, and the main reason to us having a epoxy is because, as Kirk mentions as well, we want to be able to build the product just like Frostflakes actually, but in the early stages we want to maybe add in some of these gold and platinum NFTs along the way, and that will require some changes to the contract at that stage. And then also actually I find it a very, very good procedure to have, just like we have with baked beans. That was also a epoxy to begin with, and we had that going on with real investors in it, so we can test from now into forever, but we will never be able to cover every scenario that's out there. So it's a great thing to actually release it with a proxy, enabling us to fix bugs along the way. And then once we're settled with that, and maybe also settled with whatever NFT mechanics we want into it, we can discuss actually renouncing the ownership and thereby making the contract immutable.
Right. Yeah. And so, yes, AJ, your follow-up, that's just what Jack was just saying, is that he is going to be in charge and control of the contract. It is his contract. And, you know, I like that as well. I mean, my job in this whole thing as team lead is to promote the heck out of it and to do marketing and to run the community. And, you know, I'm relying on Jack to, you know, write the code and do that kind of thing. And that's what, of course, I want. And so it's a good partnership in that sense, even though it's not a technical partnership, it is his contract. And so I think you can take comfort in the fact that I'm not, you know, because you don't know me as well yet as maybe you do, Jack, that I'm not pushing any buttons on the backside with the contract. I am just trying to put it out there. Yeah, I'm just trying to put it out there, make people aware of it and excited about it, and hopefully can realize gains from it.
Yeah, but I can say now that how long have we known each other now, Kirk?
Oh my gosh! I mean, probably
4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months. You know, it's a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lifetime in DeFi. So, and I can really at this point vouch for Kirk. There has been nothing where he haven't been responsive or trustworthy or anything. He's really put action into every word he's spoken, and that's something that I've said so many times, that trust is built by that you put actions into your words, so you don't just speak words and never do anything about it. And I can really vouch for Kirk at this stage. But of course, I'm I wouldn't say I'm biased, but I know Kirk way more than you guys know him, but in the sense that you will definitely feel the same way that I feel over time. I can assure that.
Right. Okay, great. I saw something from John asking, have you made any attempt projecting the runway the project contract will get from selling 100% of the NFTs? How dependent? Okay, yeah. We're working on those kinds of things. And yes, there's been some modeling in the background about this. I mean, one of the big questions, of course, is how successful will the NFT sales be? And that's going to really determine how we proceed, you know, with the assets. Because again, just like Frostflakes, there'll be a split, you know, a 50-50 split in terms of deposits and also in terms of NFT sales, with money going into the bank contract, which is the investment contract. So once we have a good sense after the pre-sale of the NFTs, how much money we're actually talking about here. I mean, I'm hopeful that we'll sell out the NFTs. And if we do, we'll literally have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in day one of the project. So that's super bullish. And, but I don't have anything. Yeah, I know. I won't have anything I can share with you, quite yet that way. So, so hopefully that gives you some answer. And we will be going into more details, like I said, about the EMP side of things with AJ and with the types of returns that Speakeasy can reliably expect as we move along. I'll be doing an AMA, like I said, the next AMA I think is going to be with him, so we can get into the weeds on that a little bit. Do the NFT cocktails have an expiration date? No. I mean, not their expiration date is the project's expiration date. So, which hopefully is a long, long time away. So I think there's one other thing that I was thinking about when you were talking, Jack, that I wanted to say, and that is that, I know what it was. We are looking at, it was the proxy thing. And my point was we're looking at a lot of different things, everyone, about mechanics. We were talking just the other day about the idea of being able to limit the number of people that come into the contract. There may be some scenarios where that might be of benefit to the current investors. And again, it's weird to be thinking that way, but it's also when you're thinking about this now in the sense of, well, hey, we may have a formula here where we can be self-sustainable or awfully close to self-sustainable. It changes your whole mindset about new investors in a great way. So hopefully that comes to fruition. But, the key of it is, this build up at first. This is the key to get our nest egg, if you will, through these NFT sales and moving forward that way. So I think that is important. And I know there was a conversation, I did want to hit this too. There was also a conversation in the chat about potentially creating a mechanic of allowing you to split your rewards, not having to take 100% of your rewards, being able to reinvest 50-50. Jack and I have talked about that. I'm not going to say we're not going to do it, but we're not going to do it now for launch. We're going to keep things the way they are, which is really the way that FrostFlakes was, and the way a lot of the ROI dApps work is that you don't have control. You're either compounding or claiming 100%. But that doesn't mean that it's not a good idea and that we won't keep addressing it and finding if there are ways that are advantageous to the contract overall to do it. I just wanted to make sure that I addressed it because it was a topic of conversation. So let's see. Will the rules be changed around percentage limits for no? These are the rules. And again, things like the NFTs and stuff like that, once they're minted, that's the way it is and they're out the door. We feel like the system that we've set up has got the best chance for sustainability while still providing, a return that is going to interest people in DeFi because, obviously if you're in DeFi, you have a little bit of a gambler's personality. So, we don't want to become a bank. So, I think it's a good mix, and, Jack and I have spent a lot of time talking about that. And so I don't foresee any changes to the basic structure that we're setting up here. Would you agree with that, Jack?
Actually, agree with that. And one thing that I learned from my community in FrostFlakes during the period where the curve kind of broke and we were going downwards, it was very clear that, of course, there were a few who thought it was a good idea to make some changes here and there to improve the sustainability.
Right, I remember
that stage, but at that stage, it's very, very late. We need to do it from the beginning, just like that we're doing now. Hopefully that we're doing now, right? We're doing whatever we can in our best interest to make something that would end up being sustainable. But doing something along the way and making these changes, one of my arguments was that it takes a lot of time to actually implement and fix and make sure that all the current wallets and the fixes and the changes that are in will be backward compatible. That in itself is quite error prone. But other than that, I would always say that trying to fix something like that, changing variables along the way, and of course that the suggestions were to FrostFlakes is too late. It's just trying to put a band-aid on something. So that's one of the key issues to not do that. And to not make any changes. The other thing is, in my opinion at least, that once you build something, and as we have mentioned many times now, this is still a game. And once you build a game, you stick to the rules. And that's the best way to build these things, in my opinion.
Right. And that's a great way to potentially end this thing, is just to say, yeah, this is a game. This is, not an annuity. And no expectation of value from the work of others. All those things, all those disclaimers holds true with Speakeasy as well. All right. Well, we're a little over an hour, so I want to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for coming and staying. We've had a good level of participation. I'm really excited and happy about that. Thanks, Jack, for stepping up and doing this with me. I'll try not to ask you to do it too many more. Again, look in the main channel. I'll be putting the information about the next week's activities. And I'll also be putting information there about AMAs. We'll have the one with AJ soon. I'm also going to be starting to go out a little bit, like with DeFi Club and other groups, and doing some AMAs in new communities. And I'll keep you guys posted about that as well. All right. Thanks very much. Have a great week, and cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.